Greetings, dear chess fans and experts. This is FIDE Master Max Omariev with you, and today we'll look at the best opening trap of the 11th World Chess Champion, Robert James Fischer. He's a world chess legend, considered by many to be the greatest champion of all time.
Fischer is to chess what Muhammad Ali is to boxing.
But oddly enough, the trap we'll look at is not at the time of his championship, but the time of his youth, when he was 15 years old. Let's listen to some advice from the future champion.
What does it take to make a good chess player?
Talent, skill, patience. You have to study a lot more.
Fischer will become champion only 14 years later, but even then, as a 15-year-old teenager, he gave us a masterpiece that went down in history. So let's take a closer look at this masterpiece and see the best opening trap from Robert Fischer. We have the Sicilian played by Reshevsky here, the accelerated dragon. Black fianchettos their bishop, attacking the knight. So Fischer plays bishop to e3, protected. Knight to f6 and bishop to c4. Absolutely right move to keep black from moving d7 pawn to d5. Besides, white develops their pieces. Castles and then bishop to b3 is played by Fischer. This is a right decision, which, by the way, turned out to be the forerunner of the most splendid trap from Robert Fischer. But first, let's find out what the point of this move was, and let's look at one trap for black as well. If we develop our queen here by playing queen d2, then we take control of g4 and black can put their knight there right away, attacking the e3 bishop. And the bishop can't be removed because the knight gets captured. Well, in the end, white has to part with this bishop and black has the upper hand. They'll have the advantage of the two bishops. On the other hand, if we play f3 with the idea of not letting the knight there, but also to strengthen the e4 pawn, then follows an extremely unpleasant response, queen b6. And this is where white begins to struggle. b2 pawn hangs, and if we play bishop b3 to keep it safe, then a tactical blow follows. Knight takes e4, black wins a pawn. On fe, d4 gets captured, so he ups a pawn. And on knight hits c6, we're simply taking the bishop on e3 with check, and then the battle begins. But black liked the idea of getting the advantage of two bishops, and that's why Samuel Reshevsky made a rough mistake and played knight a5. This move looks logical. If white plays bishop a4 in an attempt to avoid exchange, the knight c4 will follow, and the second bishop and b2 pawn will hang. Still, the move knight a5 was inaccurate. Black should have preferred the more modest move d6, opening the way for the bishop and adding a strike on g4. And now we already want to play knight g4, so white plays f3, and after bishop d7, we have d2. Here the move queen b6 gives us nothing because of knight f5. Pawn on b2 is no longer in danger, we have everything protected, and then we take the g7 bishop. And young Bobby is not afraid of his formidable opponent and reacts quite strongly. He plays e5. He attacks the knight, and it turns out that there are not many squares to retreat to. If you play knight h5, then just g4 follows and the knight gets trapped. If we capture b3, then we play ef with an attack on the bishop. On knight a1 will be fg. On king g7, we can even safely make a castling, and knight on a1 is lost. As a result, here white has two pieces for the rook. That is a large material advantage. That's why out of despair, Samuel Reshevsky played knight e8. It seems that the worst is over. The bishop is still in danger, the pawn on e5 hangs, but here's the key point, dear friends. Now you need to pause the video and play like the 11th World Chess Champion, Robert James Fischer. So dear friend, if you've played here as Robert James Fischer, then you definitely have a champion talent, and he played bishop takes f7. This is just a bishop sacrifice. f7 is well protected by rook and king. It is not clear what's happening, but here's the thing. After the move king to f7, which followed in the game, here Fischer made a second strike. If you didn't find the move bishop f7 before, you can now pause the video again and find the right solution on the second try. The solution is as follows. Knight to e6. Brilliant. It turns out that black has problems with the queen. Queen has nowhere to retreat. And we take knight with king, then queen d5 follows, and here we have a forced mate. Queen e4 and rook g1. Mate in one move is already threatening. Queen g4. But if defended against, mate in two moves follows. Queen h4 mate. That's why we had to take the knight with a pawn. Well, it turns out that on the 10th move, black was down queen and soon lost. Well, about soon, I was a bit wrong. Reshevsky still kept fighting, but the position is absolutely lost and has nothing to do with our trap. Let me just quickly run through the part where Fischer implemented this position quite accurately. Reshevsky resisted because some 15-year-old kid was sitting across from him. He didn't understand what was going on because he was the US champion and he'd been a child prodigy too. At the age of 4, he gave a simultaneous exhibition. He was one of the strongest chess players of his time and had defeated world champions. And here's a 15-year-old kid beating him. Well, I think that over the years, Reshevsky had forgiven Fischer everything, having found out who Robert James Fischer ended up being. And I thank you for your attention. Give this video a like if you like this trap. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see more traps from Fischer. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the upcoming interesting videos. Give this video a like, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to keep up to date with all our latest videos. Also, check out our Telegram channel and Instagram where we post only the latest news in the world of chess. Keep playing and studying chess, and I'll see you soon.
Do you honestly think that you probably are the world's greatest?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.